What are your 5 steps that you'd recommend to young athletes today to get recruited?
Well, so the first thing they really got to do is day one of high school, your freshman year, you have to get the best grades possible. The
Mm.
best grades you can possibly get, you have to do it. Because
Why?
if you don't have the grades, the colleges can't do anything with you. So, for example, like in my situation, I'm lucky enough to be on full scholarship, but that's not a full athletic scholarship. I'm on a half athletic scholarship and half academic scholarship.
All right.
So it saves the school money where they don't have to spend a full athletic scholarship on me. And then it also saves myself money because I don't have to, pay for school.
Oof.
And, really that's the biggest thing. And that starts before you can even talk to colleges, just getting your academics right. Because if you don't have that, it really hurts your chances because number one, having high academics shows that, you're mature, you can have a higher chance of being successful in this environment because it's a lot of work when you're here, and academics can really slip through if you're not committed to it.
Right.
The second step that I would say is make sure you're in shape, and make sure you're consistently trying to eat healthy and working out on a consistent basis. You don't have to be
Mm.
the strongest guy around, but just make sure that you're doing what you can to lift. That's really a lot of it because the biggest thing I've noticed is that there's a lot of guys in the state of Vermont who are skilled, who are fast, but when you take them out of that situation, they just don't have the strength as a lot of the guys, outside of the state. That's really the one thing I've noticed. It's not really the ability; it's
Mm.
more of the physical, like the strength, the speed, the jumping. So always working on that is really important. Second, or third would be marketing yourself. Once it's time to start talking to coaches, getting a Twitter, emailing. I mean, I'll be honest. I sent probably 15 to 20 emails a day,
Woo.
probably from when I started in the fall, end of my junior season, right up until I was committed. I'd probably send 15 to 20 emails a day, Monday through Friday, to college coaches.
What would you say?
You know, I sent hundreds of emails,
What
and
would you say? And like, would you just be
it
like,
would just
"Hey, I'm
be
just
introducing myself, telling them like my name, where I'm from, my position, like for me it was my snap time,
mm,
adding what I wanted to study, asking if they had any chance for visits, stuff like that. And I'd go on the online and I would just find all the coaches' emails, find if they had Twitters, follow them, all of that, just to try to get in their faces. Because what I'll say is also a lot of recruiting is luck. And
mm,
a lot of people say that a lot of it is just luck. You happen to be the one that is at the top of the coach's inbox when he goes in the morning to check his emails. Because if he's looking for a long snapper, he goes in the office, he opens up his email, sees, oh, a long snapper recruit. He opens it up, he likes what he sees. He might not scroll through the rest of his emails, and your email is gone.
right.
A lot of it really is luck. The number four,
Wow.
I would say, I would wait for a response. Sometimes, most of the time, they didn't respond. If I sent 15 to 20 emails a day, I'd be
Yeah.
happy with two responses.
Right. That's like selling.
One
That's
to
like
two
literally like selling.
responses will make me happy. And I would say to myself, well, you know what? If I would send like all D1 coaches emails, and the next day might be a mix of D1, D2, and like
Yeah.
D2, D3. And I sent it to coaches of all divisions. I probably sent an email to every Division 1 school, every Division 2 school, and probably all the D3 schools on the East Coast. I film.
Just
And it wasn't just one time. I had a process where I would send emails about once every 2 months, where I would. So after I sent my initial email to them for the first time, I would add stuff saying, "Oh, I just did this in the weight room," or "I just did this achievement," something like that, and send another email. And what I would do, if I didn't hear a response the first time, the next week on the same day, I'd send a follow up, and then the next week, so 3 weeks or 2 weeks later,
Yep.
I would say, oh, like this will be the last time reaching out until I update you again. So I would send basically 3 emails in 3 weeks to the same coach and wait a month or two and then send it all again.
Wow.
I
Wow.
just kept doing it over and over until I had communication with a lot of these coaches.
And a lot of them reached out back to you. Were there a lot that also didn't?
Yeah, there was the majority didn't reach back out to me, honestly. Like I was probably, I mean, you got to think about it. There's about 250 Division I football schools. I was probably only ever talking to 15 to 20 of them. You know, a lot of it is luck.